It's been a while since I put together a showcase video of the Switch indie games that I have played. There is just a lot of great games out there, so which games do I recommend to you? I got 13 games on the docket here, so you're sure to find the right one for you. Let's start with one of my favorites on this system, Slay the Spire. Slay the Spire is a card RPG, where you choose one of 3 characters that play differently. You start with a collection of cards and obtain more the further you go in the dungeon. There are 3 acts in total, and you have to collect your gear and cards strategically in order to take down the hardest of enemies with the least effort possible. One run can take you up to an hour, but if you die, you have to start all the way over. It's a fun and addicting game that is well worth the money, and a big update is on the way, as well. Another card RPG I have to mention is Steam World Quest. This card RPG is more like a traditional RPG, with a lengthy story and a party that you manage, with decks of cards that you manage for each character. It's not as addicting as Slay the Spire, but a great alternative if you're looking for that traditional RPG experience and not a roguelike one. Motorsport Manager is a simulation game where you manage your own racing team. Manage 2 racers, a pit crew, and a slew of sponsors as you work your way up to the top racing league. There's actually quite a lot to do in the game, from training students to shopping for new parts. You don't exactly race with your drivers, but you do make decisions that impact their performance, such as decide when to go for a pit stop or change their tires. For the King, a roguelike RPG where you create 3 heroes, have them explore a map to complete quests, and battle against challenging monsters. This one is very challenging in the sense that you control each character in your party separately, and it is very hard to keep them alive. I like the hex-shaped grid, making it like a strategy RPG, and the fact that it's in full 3D with ragdoll physics makes it look like a lot of effort was put into it. You'll end up starting over a lot though, but there's a lot in this one that makes you want to try again.
Fatality.
Strange Telephone is an adventure game where there are countless rooms that you can travel to by entering a combination of numbers on a phone. You can save numbers so you can go back to them later. There is no hand-holding in this game, so you are left to find objects, interact with characters, and uncover secrets in order to leave through the giant door at the start of the game. The game has multiple endings, however. Goblin Sword is a platforming game where you simply hop and use your weapon on enemies. It's pretty fun with dozens of levels and secrets in each level. You can unlock costumes, relics, and weapons, but many are a lot harder to obtain than you think, so if you're a completionist, you may need some time to figure out everything there is to know about this game. This game has a nice soundtrack. The Phantom Doctrine is a strategy RPG that's XCOM, but with fewer characters in your party and no sci-fi. You play as a spy carrying out special missions, as you are tasked to either kill all the opponents, go to a special tile on the map, or rescue or capture a hostage. This is a 40+ hour game, so you are sure to get a bang for your buck here. We don't have XCOM on the Switch yet, but this is as close as it gets for now, bar Mario plus Rabbids. Death Coming is an arcade-like game where you cause people to die from their surroundings. You control a cursor to cause items to move or interact, which affects the people going about their day. There are several different levels from a town to a factory, and you have several tasks to do in each level, and you can also try for the highest score possible. It's not the most fluid of games, but the animations can be very amusing. 1001 Ultimate Mahjong is the mahjong game puzzle fans are familiar with, but there are 1001 different layouts to choose from, as well as several customization options to tailor your gameplay experience. The interface is clean, the backgrounds are interesting, and this is a nice game to have to pass the time. Golf Peaks is a very appealing puzzle game, where the goal is to put the ball into the hole on each stage. You have several action cards in your hand, and each card hits the ball in a certain way. There are many different puzzles, all with different challenges, adding a layer of difficulty to the game, such as conveyor belts or clay tiles. After you complete all the levels, however, there is very little you want to go back to, but it's an innovative puzzle game that's definitely worth paying for. Submerged is an open-world exploration game, where you and your younger brother travel to a flooded city. You have to explore the city to look for resources to help your sick brother, while also learning more about the events leading up to your arrival. The controls are simple, with you having to climb buildings and steer a boat in open waters. With each new chapter, you start to grow moss, which adds to the suspense. It's a collectathon game of sorts, but nothing like your typical platform. Ancient Rush 2 is a brick breaker game with a story to it. Instead of hitting bricks, though, you hit structures that fall over after a number of hits. It looks like a cheap indie title for sure, but if you're itching to try something creative with a brick-breaking game, you shan't pass this one up. Heave-Ho is a platforming puzzle game that is both simple and amusing. You grab onto platforms and swing yourself to others in a comical fashion. A lot of these levels do involve strategy and forward thinking. The art style is great and there is a great use of physics, both when you fly across the screen and when you splatter yourself when you die. There are also bonus levels that appear that allow you to unlock costumes. There is a multiplayer mode, but you can get the same amount of fun in single player. And finally, Tangled is a dungeon-crawling RPG that is styled just like a Super Nintendo game. With an incredible soundtrack, you can spend hours exploring levels and attacking enemies for experience. You can also level up and learn new abilities depending on the class you choose, and you can also level up your items by playing bonus stages. If you die, you will have to start from the very beginning of the game, unless you play on easy mode at it. This is a must-have for any indie Switch owner.